Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. If you've been following along, you know that we made an entire leg of prosciutto, and I've got a little piece of it here. And I've been working through different ways of using it in different dishes. And so today we're going to make a pretty straightforward, simple pasta that is mostly mushrooms, but flavored with the prosciutto. So I'm going to cut the prosciutto fairly thin. I know I should probably be using the deli slicer. I just didn't want to drag it out this afternoon. And I'm using prosciutto, but any cured salted meat would work. I mean, you could use bacon, you could use pancetta, you could use any sort of dry cured sausage. Any of those things would be a great substitute for the prosciutto. What you're looking for is salty cured meat, and any of it would work. So let's slice this up, and of course, try to slice it thinly. Do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can leave it in slices about that size, or you could cut it up even further if you want to. And I will probably chop it up a little bit before I put it into the pan. And that's probably all I need. So let's get the pan heated up. So I'll put this pan onto a fairly medium-high heat and hit it with a little bit of olive oil. Maybe about 3 tablespoons, not quite 4, and we'll heat that up. And once that's shimmering hot, in goes the prosciutto. And we just want to fry this to crisp it up and to flavor the oil in the pot. Okay, that's looking good. Now you don't need to cook this, obviously. You're just trying to crisp it up and really get that flavor into the pot. So I'm going to take it out and set it aside for a little while. And then into the pot goes some shallots. And we don't really need to fry them too much. They're going to cook really quickly. I've sliced them pretty thin. And then into there also goes a pile of mushrooms. Now, I've used a bunch of different types of mushrooms. I think probably 4 or 5 different types. I just went to the grocery store and bought a whole pile of different ones, because every type of mushroom is going to bring a different flavor and a slightly different texture to the finished dish. If you want to go ahead and just use all one type of mushroom, that's fine. But I would encourage you to try as many different types of mushrooms as you possibly can. So, we're going to cook this down until the mushrooms have released all of their liquid. Now, the mushrooms have cooked down pretty nicely. So I'm going to hit it with a little bit of black pepper. I'm not going to add any salt because there's plenty of salt from the prosciutto. I'm going to put in some chicken stock. And I'm going to pour in a little bit of wine as well. Bring some acidity from the wine. If you don't like cooking with wine, or you don't want to cook with wine, you don't have to use it. You could put in maybe a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of vinegar, just to bring a little bit of brightness and acidity. And I'm going to let this simmer until most of the liquid is gone. I'm also going to put in some fresh thyme leaves. And you could use dried thyme if that's what you have. You could put the whole piece of thyme in there. You don't have to take the leaves off if you don't want to. Just stick the whole thing in and then pick them out before you go to service. And we'll just let this simmer away and let all of those flavors come together. And I've got some boiling salted water here, and I'm going to add in bow tie pasta. And we'll just shake that around so they don't stick together. Give the mushrooms a stir. They are almost dry again. Okay, the pasta looks to be cooked just barely. It'll finish cooking in this other pot with the mushrooms. So we'll get enough of the water off and dump it into the mushrooms. And then I've got a scoop here, and I'm going to add about a cup worth of the cooking liquid into this pot. And we'll give this a toss and bring it all together. And you want to toss this all together. Cook the pasta the last little bit with the mushrooms. And the pasta cooking water should thicken up part of the sauce. I'm also going to jump in at this point, probably half to 2/3 of the prosciutto and mix it in as well. And the last ingredient is some cream. So pour that in and then give this a really good mix before we serve it. And so we serve that up. A little bit of the prosciutto on top. And grate on some cheese. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends. Oh, I see you've made something very warm and comforting on this cold day.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of ways to use up the prosciutto.
Ah, good idea.
Have pasta, which works really well in the cold, and also to work in some mushrooms. So the sauce on this is mostly a mushroom-flavored sauce. A little bit of cream at the end to bring it all together. The prosciutto's in there.
Trying to scoop some prosciutto on my... All right, there we go.
Cheese on top. Quite a bit of flavor from the mushrooms, depending on the kind of mushrooms that you get.
Yes.
And I had a pile of different mushrooms. There's about a pound of mushrooms in there.
That's a lot of mushrooms. I have to admit, as a little kid, I would hate this. I was not a fan of mushrooms as a little kid.
Cream and mushrooms together.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I need today.
The sauce isn't thick and clodgy or thick and it's a very light cream
it's
sauce.
a coating on the.
It's just a coating. It is just a coating. I'm really enjoying this. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.